morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing? It's not a what's good, Beast? What's good, Zed? Zedric, what's going on? It's it's not a victory Monday. It's not a victory Monday. It is a predictable Monday. Everything is predictable. That's what it is. That's the theme of this show. That's the theme of the Browns. That's the theme of the whole situation. Predictable. And you have people who could not see this being the outcome. Those people, they don't know what to do with themselves today. They don't know what to do. Make sure my volume is good. Get this other headphone in. All right, good. You are now tuned in to Eliminate the Gray with Offtharecorddee. Shout out to y'all for being here. What's good? What's good? What's good, Kyler? Kyler, hey, your man's look good this weekend. Dante Moore looked good this weekend. Zedric, I agree. The game could have got a lot worse. It could have. They could have dropped the 50 ball on the Browns easy. Easy could have dropped the 50 ball on the Browns. So it get dark early. It gets dark early. So shout out to y'all for being here. Shout out to y'all for the enthusiasm for this show. As always, I believe I put together a great show. Some of the topics we're going to get to. Of course, we're going to cover the Browns and what happened yesterday, what we witnessed. And we are witnessing. Yeah, hey, I got to give you a props on that one, Kyler. I got to give you a props on that one. Dante Moore, let me just give y'all 15 to 20 seconds on Dante Moore, what I appreciate about that whole situation watching him play. His coach, his offensive coordinator, his team, they believe in him. They showed that from the very beginning. They were going for it on fourth down. He is mobile. He is not just looking to take off. He's looking to read the field. He's a leader. He has the arm talent. He can throw the ball well on the move and on the run. So just a lot of great things I saw from him. A lot of great things. So, Kyler, you were right. I told you it would be hard for me to add him in to the 8 guys I'm already following in college. But what I saw a night and day difference between him and Drew Aller. In Drew Aller, I saw a team who was trying to make sure their quarterback didn't lose. And in Oregon, I saw a team who was they were going to win on the back of their quarterback. So that was the difference that I saw. So shout out to you for pointing that out, calling that out. It jumped off the screen on Saturday night. So we're going to get to the Browns. We're going to get to the Browns media twisting themselves in a pretzel because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to accept the fact that Joe Flacco isn't good. Now they are trying to defend Andrew Berry by saying his draft class is so good, but at the same time complaining about the tackle situation, complaining about the wide receiver situation when Andrew Berry is the one who finds and brings that talent to the team. They're not even mentioning Kevin Stefanski. They're acting as if Kevin Stefanski is not the reason this offense is so bad. They're not mentioning none of these things. So, hey, I don't put the same level of emotion into the Browns game now that I'm seeing the Browns through a different lens. And these guys on the radio, I don't believe they understand the game enough to see things before they unfold for sure. Even after they unfold, they can't identify what's happening in front of their eyes. So even though everybody goes back, they watch the tape a million times, some things you know in the moment. So if you were on the stream yesterday, when the Browns are at the 1 yard line, they ran a QB sneak on second down. I was like, what are we doing? We ran a QB sneak on third down. I'm like, what are we doing? Quinshon Judkins is the most productive offensive player that the Browns have. But when they got to the 1 yard line, I was like, okay, we should see Quinshon Judkins on the first 2 plays. They didn't do that. Beast, is Kevin on the hot seat? He's acting like he's not. They're doubling down. Yes, Cedric, they are doubling down. I believe Kevin is on the hot seat now. And it's one factor that it's one reason why I believe Kevin is on the hot seat. It's not from performance. It's not from the Browns. Kevin is on the hot seat because his players on the defense the way that they're playing, the way that they're balling, they are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you have enough of those players on the defense who are producing, who are under contract, who are in their prime, a Myles Garrett, a Denzel Ward, those guys go upstairs and say, hey, Kevin is not the guy. That is how Kevin can lose his job, even if the owner wants to keep him. If he loses that defense, if he loses those leaders on the defensive side of the ball because he's doubling down on Joe Flacco, doesn't want to move on from Joe Flacco, that is how he could lose his job. And that was right there in front of us the whole time. So we're going to see. The first half should have been the last half of football he ever plays. That's a fact. That is a fact. See, remember last Monday, Shedeur did look mad on the sideline, but also don't read too much into that. He's listening to the play call, so he was leaning to the one side because it's only coming out that one side. So I don't see Shedeur showing emotion like that. To me, that was just him listening to the play call. And also, Shedeur has ultimate confidence. We're going to get to that later in the show. So I don't think he's rattled by these guys' performance or not performing. I don't think that shakes him. So these guys on the radio, they don't know what to do. Now, some of them are just saying, and this is, y'all know this, the beauty of this morning show is on Monday, we get to hear what the local radio station does and says in the morning. So I get up early enough. I listen to their show on 2-speed as I'm going for my morning walk, getting my thoughts together before the show. And I get to hear in real time what they're saying. I get to hear what the fans are saying in real time. We're also going to show you what confidence looks like in Shedeur, and we're going to show you what a lack of confidence looks like. So it was a big storm. Oh, man, is Shedeur cocky? Is he calling people out? Is he this? Is he that? You need confidence when you're playing quarterback in the NFL because it's going to be some bad days. And if your confidence is shook, at that point, a smart coach identifies it. If he can't give you answers right away, he moves on from that quarterback to the next one. And I'm going to let y'all be the judge. Y'all tell me if Joe Flacco looks confident once we get to that portion of the show. Also, I want y'all to tell me if Myles Garrett looks like he believes in what he's signing up for. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Also, one thing with me is, and what I'm realizing, when you are in front of people, one of your superpowers has to be the ability to admit fault and then pivot to the next thing instead of doubling down. Everybody that doubles down when they have enough evidence in front of them, I just realized I can't really take that person serious because they refuse to admit fault in a public way. I'll give you all an example. Beast, he's here. All the streams, I tried to put DJ Lagway on Beast. Beast said, that's not my guy. That was Jeffrey's guy. So on the next stream, I said, hey, Beast, I owe you an apology. I tried to put DJ Lagway on you. That's not your guy. Most people would not go back and, say, hey, I messed that up. If you're willing to say you messed that up, then you can move forward instead of just doubling down on being wrong. That's what we're going to see these people do. That's what we're going to see them do. So this is going to be a great show. This week, people will be exposed. You will see people in the media being exposed. It already started yesterday. Mary Kay put out an article saying Joe Flacco needs help. The problem is she's calling out the line. But this is what they don't realize. If you're calling out the line, who's in charge of building the line? Also, the offensive line is not changing. We are where we're at. Who is the offensive play caller? Why is he letting Aiden Hutchinson line up one-on-one on whichever tackle he wants to line up on the key downs, and he's not at least chipping him with a back? So the offensive play caller, that's on the play design. That's a systematic issue. So I tell you all these things, and I just bring the receipts later when it plays itself out. So, hey, they got to do better. They got to do better. Let's get to the first clip we have. I'm not gonna talk y'all to death. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it today because it's going to be very interesting how this week goes. Now, last week I played a clip for y'all, and the guy he's on the right side of my screen. He should be on the right side of y'all screen when he shows up. This is, I think his name is Daryl Ryder. Last week he was telling us that Joe Flacco gives the Browns the best chance to win. Y'all know what he's saying this week? You think he came back and said, you know what, I was wrong. Joe Flacco doesn't get him the best chance to win. Maybe they should move on to somebody else. Nope, that ain't what he did. He said, you know what? It don't matter who the quarterback is. Oh, it don't matter? What he's doing is he's conceding defeat, but he's doing it in a way where he's not taking responsibility for what he said. Hey, the quarterback don't matter. It's so bad the quarterback don't matter. It's so bad the quarterback don't matter. So my question to people who say that, I'm not saying the quarterback is going to make them in contention. I'm saying a quarterback can come in and not turn the ball over as much, or the quarterback can run on 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 2 and get a first down. Joe Flacco ran from the pocket with open field. He couldn't run 2 yards. He slid before getting the first down. Can a rookie come in and make that play, just run for 2 more yards and get the first down? I think so. Rex Ryan just came out on Get Up saying Shedeur isn't working hard enough. These guys are clueless. These guys, they're clueless. Oh, my goodness, they're clueless. Okay. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to see if we could, we might have to pivot on where I was going. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to play this clip on one screen, and then on the other screen, I'm going to try to find this Rex Ryan clip. Get Up is really funky with how they put their stuff out. But let's play this first clip, and I'm going to try to find that Get Up clip because we definitely will have to react to that live on the show. Let's go. Here is the first clip.
Just taking Flacco out because I'm telling you, I'm watching Detroit. It looked like they had 2 Myles Garretts, as bad as our tackles were in that game. So I don't know what you expect a overdrafted 5'9", 3rd round Dillon Gabriel to do with that offensive line, but it seemed like that was the easy solution for all the fans that I was talking to yesterday.
I have news for you. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Joe Flacco's washed. Dillon Gabriel, I still can't believe they picked him in the 3rd. It doesn't matter who starts a quarterback Sunday in London. It really doesn't. It does not improve their chances to win. That was the realization that I came to yesterday. The notion of, well, so-and-so gives us the best chance to win. I have news for you, Cleveland. None of your quarterbacks on this roster give you any chance to win. That is where we're at. Joe Flacco doesn't give you a chance to win. Turns it over too much. When he is putting footballs on guys' hands, they're not catching it. Okay? Jerry Jeudy, I watched the film yesterday. You stink. Okay? You got to catch the ball when it's thrown to you. Okay? It's that simple. I'm going to give Harold Fannin a little grace. That was a pretty big drop he had, but you know what? Watching him and the effort he gives after catches, similar to Quinshon Judkins after contact, you get a little reprieve from me there. But when you're going after reporters about whether or not they're watching film, okay, but you're not catching the ball and you're supposed to be the number 1 receiver on this team, I'm going to go after you.
So last week he said Joe gives him the best chance to win. This week he's saying it doesn't matter. And this is the problem. It's a very big problem in what he said. He's calling out Jerry Jeudy for dropping passes, which Jerry Jeudy should be catching these passes. The problem he's making is he's giving Harold Fannin Jr. a pass for also dropping passes. The Browns are either the worst, or I'm sorry, let me word this right. The Browns have the most or second most drops in the NFL this year. And it's not all Jerry Jeudy. Some of it is Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin's been dropping passes every game. When you start to make excuses for people, they're just going to do more of the same. So you can't make excuse. You can't call out Jerry Jeudy for it, but say it's okay for Harold Fannin. Neither one of them should be dropping passes. So that's just crazy. And y'all see how they sound. They make no sense. They just all over the place. Let me get to some of y'all comments that I missed. Nobody blame this coach. Rex Ryan was and still an idiot. That's correct. Rex Ryan just doing TV, man. I don't know where the old Rex Ryan is, but this is not the same Rex Ryan. He was known for defense. He was known for being a straight up guy. I don't know what he is now. They said put Dillon Gabriel in. If they think he looked bad, put Flacco back in. It makes no sense. Beast, you are correct. I heard them say that on the radio this morning as well. I heard Jason Lloyd say that. So this is why you got to listen to what they say and show how it makes no sense. Joe Flacco is playing bad enough that we're going to bench him. And then if Dillon Gabriel's not good, we're going to go back to the same guy that we already benched. Make it make sense, somebody. Somebody make that make sense for me. Win from Joe gives you the best chance to win, and no one can win. Zedric, you see it. You see how he said that? Because he's not taking responsibility for just being wrong. The guy on the right sounds dumb in this whole clip. Kyler, you are correct. He makes no sense. He just starts babbling. These guys give me confidence, though. So the way I'm studying tape, the way I'm learning more about the game of football, the real way football works, these guys give me confidence. If these guys can be paid and be on the radio for years, cover teams for 18 years, man, it's no doubt. There's no doubt that I could do this. No doubt. Because if that's my competition, what are we doing? Their QBs are Flacco and Gabriel. They give you zero chance. Shedeur not there. QB gives them the only chance. They are not the same. Hey, B from Ohio. Remember 3 weeks ago, I told y'all Kevin Stefanski is the one that doesn't want to play Dillon Gabriel because then it's going to expose that they just picked a quarterback that wasn't up to par. I said it 3 weeks ago. I saw it. I saw the writing on the wall. I'm like, okay, if Flacco is this bad, why would you not want to move off of him? So I don't think about the reasons to move off of Joe Flacco. I think about the reverse. Who would not want to move off of Joe Flacco? And it's the person that's going to get exposed. Remember I told y'all Kevin Stefanski is dodging everything like the Matrix. You fired whole staffs twice. You turned over quarterbacks. You did all these things. Now it's on you. It's on Kevin. He don't want Dillon. Now they also said on the radio, man, just put Joe Flacco out there 2 more games. If you put Joe Flacco out there 2 more games with this defense playing the way they're playing, they're going to go upstairs and say, you got to get rid of this coach. They put themselves in this position. Jerry Rice will drop some of those passes. The quality of the ball being thrown are terrible. Kyler, you're right. Joe Flacco goes from throwing moon balls to throwing bullet passes to there's no consistency with how he's throwing the ball, and they can't get with it. They can't get with it. Explain why he only waits until 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter to put him in. It's a fact. He doesn't see. If you this is all about survival. This is all about maintaining your job. Now, people call a person a conspiracy theorist when they don't agree with them until that person is right. Then they just never say nothing again. So let me throw out a conspiracy for y'all. If Kevin Stefanski puts Dillon Gabriel out there right now, Dillon Gabriel plays 4 games, stinks up for 4 games, it's very obvious that he is not the answer. Then they go to Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders looks better than the very low bar that Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel already set. Then you're going to question Kevin Stefanski's ability to identify the quarterback that he wants. Then you have to question, why did they throw away a draft pick at 94? And then you got to question Andrew Berry. So a lot of the things that they are doing is to protect themselves to survive and be on the team next year. That's why the decisions don't make football sense. They don't make logical sense. They're just doing these things to maintain their ability to keep getting paid. That's what it comes down to. Remember last week I said, look at Joe Flacco. Don't accept nothing in a win you wouldn't accept in a loss. Joe Flacco was just as bad last week, y'all. They said, oh, that win bought him some more. Okay. A team like this needs Antonio Brown to shake the nest for better or for worse. They need something. See, the uncomfortable thing is the unknown is always the most uncomfortable. If you're not willing to shake things up at quarterback, which that could help you, you could gain some trust with the locker room, Kevin Stefanski. You're not willing to shake that up. You might be the shakeup. Kevin Stefanski might be the thing that gets shaken up. So he's walking the thin line. He's walking a very thin line. Beast, do you remember before the season, I said Shedeur Sanders was going to be their get out of jail free card. They was going to rip him out the plastic once it looked really, very bad and they needed to turn things around to make sure they could try to keep their jobs. Remember I said that? It sounded crazy at the time when I said it because I said it before the season, before the first game. Now, all signs point to they're going to wait for Shedeur until it's that bad because they might not fire a coach in season. My second greatest offense is more complex than Stefanski 4 weeks into the season. Hey, B, you're right. Myles facing the fourth quarter spoke volumes. You're right. We're going to look at how Myles looked in his press conference. Myles was frustrated after week 2. And remember, I highlighted he was frustrated after week 2. Now, we're going to look at Myles after this. Hot take, but Gabriel could be a shakeup and when he gets his starts and lights it up. Now, if we had a creative offensive play caller, Kyler, I probably would agree with you. The Browns' offense is not creative. And it's a multitude of reasons why it's not creative. So I've been really looking into the West Coast offense. That's the basis of what the offense that Kevin Stefanski runs. So a lot of stuff in the West Coast offense is designed to really take advantage of cover 2 and also other zone packages. It's not designed to beat man. The problem is most teams are playing cover 1 man. If you notice, it doesn't matter who the Browns play. Every team's middle linebacker looks all pro versus them. Why do you think that is? Because in cover 1, you're man across the board, and then also the linebacker, depending on which cover 1 they call, they could drop back and cover the middle of the field where Joe Flacco feels the most comfortable. They could line up, they could blitz, they could drop back, they could read and react to the run play that happens in front of him. Also, when you do that and run man, you're making it harder to run the ball. So they're effectively taking away the first and second thing that Kevin Stefanski wants to do. The first and second thing is being taken away. And the Browns don't run the right routes to beat man, and they also don't have the speed. So Jerry Jeudy is not known to blow past guys because he doesn't have the speed. Cedric Tillman is not a speed guy. Why did Isaiah Bond look like the best receiver already when they just gave him regular routes? And they used his routes to beat man coverage. Why did he already look like the best? Because that's the prototype that you need to beat man coverage. I don't think Kevin will allow it to be creative. I agree with you. I agree. Shedeur is the best off-script QB the Browns ever had. He used to get in pressure, making big plays happen with the scramble drill. That's all he did at Colorado. That's all he did. That's why the Browns were hesitant to take Shedeur, and that's why Kevin Stefanski probably didn't want Shedeur, because Shedeur lives off script. It's a fact. Bond can blow right by them, but they won't use him. That's a fact. I agree. Why does everybody watch the game? Why did Isaiah Bond look so much better than the other receivers? It's speed. Every week we talk about separation. The problem with Kevin Stefanski's offense on the separation is he's running so many stick routes that's not designed for separation. Those stick routes that he's running and digs and all that stuff, those are routes to sit in spots on zone. That doesn't work on man coverage. So I'm going to keep saying this. In the preseason, I said the Browns cannot beat cover 1. And everybody told me I was caping for Shedeur. I'm going to keep saying this. They said, oh, you caping for Shedeur. I said, what's the answer? Everybody said, throw the ball away. Okay. Throw the ball. Okay. Now that we see man coverage is the thing that gives them the most problem, now you got to point the finger at the person who constructed the team, because the wide receivers lack speed. Browns never have speedy wide receivers. And then also you got to look at how they're calling the plays, which is systematic. And he's decent size and able to separate himself from defenders. That's a fact. That's why when everybody was mad at the Isaiah Bond thing, once he got cleared of anything off the field, I didn't understand the outrage. It was the outrage on local Cleveland media. It was outrage among some fans. If you were cleared and you didn't do anything wrong, then I don't see why we should have any beef with you. Isaiah Bond is clearly the guy that looks the best receiver. He looks the best. Everybody sees it. Nobody can question that. So that just made me think of something. When we talk about how Kevin Stefanski is not creative, I'm going to get to a clip because now even Jason Lloyd, the offensive line is terrible and all you got to do is blitz Lamar. That's been an issue. If the Ravens can't run the ball, then their offense is exposed. They need to be able to run the ball. So Jason Lloyd, he's going to say something. And it shows how other coaches have a level of
the Guardians
creativity.
do matter, so we can at least.
They have a level of creativity in their offense that the Browns don't allow. So let me get to this with Jason Lloyd. He's going to talk about a play that Dan Campbell was talking about. And this is something that you'll rarely hear when it comes to a Brown quarterback. So let me find a spot.
Board, but I thought he was overdrafted.
Well, it was just a little bit confusing unless he just goes out here and just I know that sounds goofy, but I talked about this with you guys a couple weeks ago. What special teams coach in the league understands? Like, think about it. It's a 10-10 game without the it's magnified when the offense isn't, and if you have to pay him and bring him back just because of some of the offseason moves that they had made, seemed daunted by that. They've won games that he started multiple times, huge games here, going back. Really been sort of the Guardians theme is maybe not.
I got to find the spot. I can't remember the spot where he was talking about, Dan Campbell was talking about how when Amon-Ra St. Brown scored on that easy little quick screen they ran outside to him, that was because Jared Goff saw that defense. He knew what was coming from studying film. The Browns had already ran that same play. He checked out of it into another play, and that's how they ended up scoring that Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown where he walked in. So let's get to – I'm throwing a little monkey wrench on where I was going to go with the show. Let me find – I want to see what Rex Ryan is saying. So I'm going to have to do a little digging right here, and we're going to get to it. Let's see what good old Rex Ryan talking about.
Of the hour, the game is called Believe It or Not. The Steelers go to Ireland and find a way to beat the Vikings. Teddy, if I said the Steelers are going to win the AFC North, believe it or not?
Just when I just tried to convince Stephen A. too, you better believe this.
All right, here we
Joe
go.
Flacco, believe it or not?
Believe it. Believe it. I don't care if you put in milk plum. I don't care.
What a reference.
You know, you got Shedeur Sanders.
Nope.
You know, like, why is Shedeur not in there? Well, I don't know. Are you sitting in the back of the meeting rooms with scout team receivers? I think you are. Get your butt in the front, you probably would be starting. But this guy can't play. He can't play anymore. He couldn't play.
So did he just say the reason why Shedeur is not playing is because he's sitting in the back of the meeting with scout team receivers? So guys group together, building that camaraderie because they're on the scout team is an issue now. But at the same time, guys who are playing together every week who don't have camaraderie and aren't on the same page is a good thing? What are these guys talking about? I don't understand why they just want to use every reason to criticize Shedeur. What are you saying? When they're in the QB meetings, is no back of the room. When they're in the QB meetings, it's the four QBs with Deshaun. It's the 5 QBs sitting right there. There is no back of the room. Zedric, I'm with you too. Who fed him that information? And why is that an issue? So this will be my question. Everybody who doesn't sit on the front row. Good morning, Ms. Brown. This will be my question. Everybody who doesn't sit on the front row, are they allowed to play? Everybody who doesn't sit on the front row, are they allowed to play? Does anybody who is not in the front row allowed to play? Are there any starters who don't sit on the front row? If that's the case, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. This is not football related. So when I said people got issues with Shedeur that's not football related, this is one of those issues. This is an issue. First off, why would this come out? This has to come out from somebody on the team. And to feed this to Rex Ryan, when everybody said, are they trying to sabotage Shedeur, everybody thought it was so crazy. What is this? What do we do with this information? This is information that shouldn't come out about a third-string quarterback. And then also, now that you have it out, is every person who is not in the front of are there any starters who sit at the back? He didn't say he's sitting with other guys who are not playing or any. He said he's sitting with the scout team receivers who he's working with every single day, building camaraderie. See, this is when some of these people, they got to just go. They got to go. They got to be gone. They got to be gone. We shouldn't even be, if Rex Ryan is not breaking down defenses, we shouldn't be listening to nothing else he says. We shouldn't be listening to nothing he say. He can get up there and talk. We just don't have to listen to it. This makes no sense because this is the type of information that comes out where you say they are not doing right by him. This leads you down that path for this information to come out. He is not the next QB up. Dillon Gabriel is the next QB up. Dillon Gabriel is the next QB. Where does Dillon Gabriel sit in the meeting? Joe Flacco probably sit right up front, right next to Kevin Stefanski, right where Kevin Stefanski is standing. Does that help him play better on the field? These are the questions you got to ask yourself. This don't make no sense. And in the same clip, he's ripping Joe Flacco, saying Joe Flacco's not good. Make it make sense. If this is a reason, if this is one of those things that's behind the scenes, if this is one of those things, and this is one of the reasons why Shedeur is not playing, they need to fire everybody. They need to fire everybody. Because what this tells me is, if you talk how I want you to talk, if you sit where I want you to sit in the meeting, you're going to play even if you trash. This is ridiculous. They need to fire everybody. Fire everybody. They need to fire the person who leaked this. They need to fire everybody if these are things that go on behind the scenes that determine somebody not getting the opportunity to play and show that they're the best. They need these guys. Everybody blow the whole thing up. Blow it up. Everybody needs to go. Everybody needs to go. I think that's how you know he's close to playing. They throw dirt on his name. I agree. That's another reason. They don't want Shedeur to get out there and look better than Joe Flacco and look better than Dillon Gabriel, because then you got to question, why did they take Dillon Gabriel at 94? He said with his arms crossed, why can't he cross his arms at his locker? No idea. That's what I'm saying. If these are reasons why you are not playing the best person on your team or the best player at that position, these guys need to go. They need to be fired. This is ridiculous. This is, if you don't look, speak, and talk like me, you can't play. That's ridiculous. It's not about performance. The NFL is a performance-based business. This is all about performance. If these are going to be the reasons that you give me, they got to go. I agree, Zedric. The Browns are putting out some of this stuff on Shedeur. Actually, most of the stuff on Shedeur, the Browns are putting out. So how can you tell me that's not sabotage? This is ridiculous.
Play 8 years ago. He's your starting quarterback. Give me an absolute break. We saw the difference that Jackson Dart made with the Giants. This move has to happen. I don't care who it is. I don't care.
No
plum
over Brian Sipe? No plum over Brian Sipe?
Brian Sipe, it doesn't matter. The little lefty guy that's under 6 foot, I don't care.
Gabriel,
I don't care. Put somebody in there.
I've got to ask you, Teddy, because, I mean, the defense is so good and their offense is so unimaginably bad. I can't believe that somehow they found themselves in a position where this was what they went into the season as their plan. I guess the Deshaun Watson contract and everything else is just so crippling that they didn't have a better option. But the defense is going to lose it at some point here, right?
They are coming off a big win, though, a couple weeks ago. And then
I get it, because they make the interception and they hold it to nothing.
you saw what Jackson Dart did to a football team. All right, when you inject a little bit of young energy, when we are also watching practice as defenders and teammates of Dillon, Gabriel, and the other quarterbacks. So, and you see Flacco, can they do more for us? We figure it out ourselves too. And when that answer is given to us, like, yes, we're going to make that decision, you can take off emotionally and have a lot of big juice.
I
like you said earlier, juice.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, I look at Stefanski as one of an outstanding coach. All right. But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever. Something's missing. Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
We'll see if they make.
Did y'all hear that? Zedric, you are 1,000% right. They said quit crossing your arms at your locker because he was in an impromptu interview and he had one arm like this, and that's an issue. If these are the reasons why he's not playing, and I said it before I even listened to all that, if these are the reasons why he's not playing, fire everybody. Fire the equipment person that's releasing this information. Fire everybody. Everybody has to go if these are the reasons why. And he said, oh, if I know, everybody knows. So this means the Browns are putting bad information out about Shedeur. I told y'all a couple weeks ago, I'm going to say this a lot. I said everybody who called out the Browns for starting Joe Flacco, and there were Shedeur Sanders fans, people owed them an apology. People owe Shedeur Sanders fans an apology if these are the reasons why he is not playing and if this is going out to the whole league. That is sabotage. That is the example, the prime example of what sabotage is. That is it. Everybody, and what they always say is Kevin Stefanski is an excellent coach. He's a great coach. What has he done? Anytime Kevin Stefanski has any expectations going into the seasons, we have a trash year. Anytime. Kevin Stefanski is calling and orchestrating the worst offense in the league. Joe Flacco leads the league in turnovers. This is trash. This is garbage. Everything that everybody said and questioned about the Cleveland Browns was right. All of it was right. Are they sabotaging Shedeur? It's right. They are sabotaging him. I'm not even dancing around it no more. Based on this information and what he got up there and said, everybody in the league knows this. When did teams in season start trashing their own players to other teams? Fire everybody. Fire everybody. You know what? After seeing this, I'm changing the tone and the way I talk about these guys. When it comes to Stefanski, I'm not holding no punches. He's trash. And Beast, you know, I'm hesitant to really be putting these words on people and saying fire them and all that stuff, but everybody needs to go. Everybody needs to go. All of them need to go. They need to burn it to the ground and start over. This is not the way you run a team. This is not the way you build up trust. This is the reason why free agents never wanted to come to Cleveland. These are the reasons. These are the reasons. It's a catch-22. Like I said, if Shedeur comes in and balls out, the problem is this is what I want to happen. Shedeur comes in and balls out the last 4 games of the year. I want the ownership to say, I can't trust your judgment and fire them. You got to get rid of everybody. You got to get rid of everybody. This is not the way you run a professional team. This is not the way you run an organization. They are feeding guys bad information and trying to make Shedeur look bad. That is sabotage. Don't tell me that's not sabotage. We went through this already. We went through this when they said he couldn't read a playbook. No justification. They said, oh, he can't read a playbook. Nope. BF from Ohio. Would your job keep you if you perform like Stefanski? No, nobody would. Look at all the coaches who are on the hot seat who have less time in their position. Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. Brian Callahan's on the hot seat. There's so many guys on the hot seat already this early in because the productivity is not there. This is them causing their own dysfunction. When Myles Garrett said there's no plan, he was right. Everybody said, oh, you shouldn't say that because you play for the team. It's no plan. If you need to go out of your way to bash players on your team, they got to go. I think even if Shedeur balls out this year, they'll be trying to get rid of him after this year. If Shedeur performs the best out of all three quarterbacks, you have to fire the staff who evaluated the situation going into it. And I'm not the person that's calling for people jobs on the regular, but this is past, because what this means is there's way more dysfunction behind the scenes. There's way more dysfunction behind the scenes. They're trying to say anything to make Shedeur look bad. I agree. Where you sit in the meeting room should not go above performance on the field. If they are making decisions this way, they have to go. They have to go. Where you sit in the meeting room, you having your arms crossed at the locker, that's an issue. That's why you can't get snaps. That's why you can't get reps. Come on, man. Come on, man. They all got to go. They got to go. They have to go. They have to go. This is them creating their own dysfunction. I'm a Patriots fan. We fired Mayo after a season, and we had worse draft and spent nothing in free agents. 4-3 record. Let me get the rest of your message. I'm a Patriots fan. We fired Mayo after a season, and we had worse draft and spent nothing in free agents. 4-3 record. Patriots fans get louder by the week. I agree, man. It needs to be everybody needs to be on one accord of having the same message. Like this, they need to blow this thing up. They need to blow this thing up. This is ridiculous. Who told me about this? Shout out to Zedric, and I think also BF from Ohio was talking about this. Shout out to y'all for even putting this on my radar this morning since it just happened. All that tells me is Shedeur has built the rapport with them. Zappy just taking up space. Left rest for Shedeur. Yeah, this is I've been saying for so long this was incompetence. I always said this is incompetence, it's not sabotage. I have changed the way that I'm viewing this in real time. This is not this is incompetence. And the incompetence is less than the sabotage. Sabotage is definitely more. To even release this information. And then for him to get up there and say, everybody in the league knows this? What are we doing, man? What are we doing? Fire these guys. These guys got to go. I got no positives from them. They got to go. Because what this tells me is the way you're running your ship is wrong. It started from a wrong base. The base of what's important to you is wrong. That's the issue. The base of it is wrong. Is you got no foundation. The foundation is trash. Because that means if I sit in the front of a meeting room and I have my hands to my side when I'm talking to reporters, I'm going to start over the guy that's better than me. This is crazy. Shout out to y'all for bringing this up to me. Rex Ryan, the clown. He's you know why Rex Ryan is a clown for this? He's a clown because he repeated this like these are detrimental things. Facts. I saw that Zedric. G. Bush was calling to anybody but Shedeur. That's it. That's what it is. That's what it is. And it's different reasons for that, because if the pick that you took a swing on ends up being the best, that means you made mistakes in your draft. Because then you got to question it. I questioned them drafting Dillon Gabriel from the beginning. I was like, dang, we could have took a tackle there, whatever. So you could have took a starter there, somebody who could be playing right now. This is crazy. Let's get to Coach Kevin. I don't think he's ever said anything. I don't even know if he said Shedeur's name. I don't even think he said his name.
Questions.
Let's get to Coach Clapp. This is Coach Clapp number 2. I had somebody in the chat yesterday, and they were comparing Kevin Stefanski to Jason Garrett, and this is true. Yeah, this is malpractice. So I always hear free agents in the NFL say they would never go play for the Browns, and everybody is wondering why. They just say, you know what? Even if the Browns pay me more, they wouldn't go to the Browns. These are reasons why. It's ridiculous. Here go Coach Clapp and Mr. We need to do better.
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating, Mary Kay, because we know you can't do those things and expect to win on the road, and so I got to get it fixed. Yeah, we all share in those things. We all own it, and
we all share in those things. We all own it. So when Joe Flacco throwing lollipop picks, we all own it. When Joe Flacco, remember when I said Joe Flacco can't see the cornerback blitz? Who the Browns playing when they kept the Baltimore Ravens? So we were sold that Joe Flacco is seeing so much, he's going to know what's coming. Baltimore Ravens confused Joe Flacco. They disguised things. They had him so confused, he could never see the cornerback blitz. There's one interview back in May, I think, where he was speaking well on him. He hasn't since. Yeah, I don't. It's been a long time since I heard him say anything positive about Shedeur. So, this is. I don't know how you come up here and you try to defend what these guys are doing. If you're supposed to be an offensive-minded coach and you have the worst offenses 3 years in a row, 2 years in a row, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is your calling card. What are we doing? It's a bunch of offensive coordinators who they make head coaches and they never excel as head coaches because it's more than just the offense. It's more than just the offense. But these guys got to go. They don't make a difference. And what his message is falling on deaf ears. We got to do better. Even me, even myself, I need to do better. It's falling on deaf ears, man. Nobody want to hear it, man. Get out of here. If the ownership group keeps him around for another year, it's just people should not buy any new Browns merchandise. They should not go to these games to support this garbage because every year it's the same thing, and they just keep doing it and they just run him out there. And I heard somebody say, "Oh, if you fire Kevin Stefanski, he's gonna get hired right away as an offensive coordinator." Okay, let him go. So then the whole league will see that his offense is trash. It's trash. Don't want to win with his best players, wants to be right about his choices. Zedric, I agree. I even have a clip. I was watching some stuff over the weekend where Maurice Jones-Drew and Steve Smith are going to talk about kind of what coaches do and put themselves in a bad spot. So let's go to Joe Flacco. Now, this is where I got questions for you. When we talk about confidence, does this look like a confident person? This is 4 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole 4 minutes, but I only have one question. I want y'all to tell me if this looks like a confident person standing in front of the media. That's the only thing we taking from this.
The first pick was on me, and anytime you get, you give a chance to give this team a little bit of momentum and play from the lead, that makes them that much better. That's part of the reason why they're a good football team. So when you turn the ball over like that and you give them good position, and you don't really allow our defense to pin their ears back and do their thing, then you're going to struggle as a whole. I don't know about that second one. I really didn't. That set them up too. I really didn't think that they came up with that, but in the box where they did, and it hurt us. So. Yeah, I thought he was going. I was in the wrong, not him. Yep.
All right. So hey, we can't blame nobody else. He said I was in the wrong, not him. Talking about that Cedric Tillman interception. I don't see confidence in this guy. Who believed Cam Ward was the number 1 draft pick over Shedeur? I don't. And I'm not even covering this stuff with Cam Ward because I don't want to be seen as a person that's attacking Cam Ward because I want to see him excel. I want to see him do well. But I noticed some things because of his arm talent. I noticed some things that his fundamentals break down. He will make passes across his body, and he's always looking for the big play. I saw that in college, and I was like, I don't know how it was anybody but Shedeur at number one, and now it's coming out as that. As a person, I like Cam Ward, but I saw some him switching up, talking to the media, and then talking a totally different way. You look pre-draft how he spoke, and you look at how he's speaking now, it's not the same. So I kind of saw that early, and I didn't want to bash him. So I was just like, hey, if y'all notice, I always said I believe Shedeur is going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. So you never heard me, you know what I'm saying, say I don't believe in Cam Ward. I say, hey, I think Shedeur is going to be the best. So I left it at that when it came to Cam Ward. No, I said it before. I'll say it again. Every time that dude is doo-doo. Yeah, Joe Flacco ain't it. Cam is super aggressive trying to make plays. Yep, that could help you or hurt you. BF from Ohio, not attacking him, just keeping 100. Yeah, I saw too many things where I knew Cam Ward would have mistakes in the NFL, and I knew that it took him too long to read and identify what the defense was doing. And his arm talent threw him out of a lot of situations in college. And I was like, I just knew that wasn't going to work in the NFL. All these rookie QBs are struggling for real, along with the vets. Selmo, you're on to something. We talked about this development buzzword and how people are saying, no, the NFL develops guys. Okay. If the NFL develops guys, why are rookie QBs so bad? Why are veteran QBs looking so bad? Why does every team need a new offensive line? Find me the team where if their local people are talking about them and they're not saying they need a better offensive line. The Raiders are saying they need a better offensive line. The Jaguars are saying they need a better offensive line. Miami Dolphins saying they need a better offensive line. Everybody's offensive line is garbage all of a sudden. Is that to protect how bad the quarterbacks are playing? Hey. Just questions. I agree. BF from Ohio. Shedeur on Miami, that would have been cheat code. Also, I'll tell y'all something else that was a sneaky thing that I realized about Cam Ward. I wish we could have our own league so we wouldn't have to deal with this. Yeah, Beaks, it's crazy. It's so hard to build an upstart league when it's built into so many people's routine for so many years that they still root and watch teams that aren't doing that well, that it will be so hard to get them off of it. So hard to get them off of the NFL. This is something else on Cam Ward, and then I'll keep it moving along. Cam Ward had the opportunity to go play for Ohio State. Cam Ward picked the Miami Hurricanes over Ohio State. I'm not saying it's NIL, but potentially could have been NIL. And that tells me about your decision-making. I don't know who or why you would pick the Miami Hurricanes over Ohio State. So I saw that. I said, oh, that's a knock on decision-making. When you look at how free agents pick teams, when you look at how they make decisions, they change how you view. Let me throw in some NBA for y'all. When you look at how Kevin Durant has picked the teams he's going to, that knocks his decision-making. His play is always legit, KD, but his decision making, you got to question it, where he always ends up in situations with these teams. And I kind of look at how guys make those decisions, and when I see it in real time, I question it. And that was another knock that I had on Cam Ward. He drifts and holds the ball too long. They don't mention that. I agree. Always looking for the big play. So much of his time in Miami, he was looking for the big play, and it gets hidden when you were just overpowering teams. We had our own league at one point a long time ago. Yep. And it was in baseball and basketball. They was there. The leagues was there. I haven't done the research on football, but I know they had baseball and basketball. So it's just one of those things. It's hard to get people off of it. Now let's look at Myles Garrett. Remember I said that Kevin Stefanski could lose the locker room? I said Kevin Stefanski could lose the locker room if this still keeps going on, and that's how he could lose his job. Now let's look at Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is clearly the best player on the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett just signed for $160 million, I think. Wasn't that 160? Didn't he get 40 a year? Myles Garrett just signed for that. If he goes up to Jim Haslam and Andrew Berry, we got to make a change. Since the Browns don't have a quarterback, your best player, your highest paid player, not highest paid, your highest paid defensive player, they can make that call. And look at Myles Garrett for this couple of minutes and tell me if this is somebody who believes in what the team is doing going forward.
No, it's all disappointing. Losing is disappointing.
So does it feel, how frustrating is it when it feels like the defense keeps getting put in bad spots? Kevin mentioned that you guys played well, played really hard, but just get put in so many bad spots.
It's part of the game. Wherever they set the ball down, you got to play. Whether it's our 20 or their 20, you got to respond. You got to make a play, and we need to make some more big plays.
Is there a lot more that you guys can do as a defense, considering that right now it seems like the offense and special teams aren't able to do what they need to do?
There's always more you can do.
He's taking the high road, y'all. How many more weeks he gonna get up there and take the high road? How many more weeks is he gonna do that? Not for forever. You can't name 15 QBs better than Shedeur. You will hear about the 56-year-old player. He got an NIL deal with Ashburn Cream. He playing for Division III team. Man, all these old guys, I've seen somebody 48 playing. I'm like, man, let it go. Let it go, man. Let it go. Let it go. That's all I got to say, man. For these old dudes who are 40 plus, let it go. Let it go. These are the questions, BF from Ohio, these are the questions that need answers. They knocked Shedeur for having the confidence of saying he can play better than some of the QB playing in the league. But then they keeping Joe Flacco in there, who looked like he's seeing ghosts. He don't have the confidence. He just standing up there, just lifeless. See, I always believed in Shedeur because of his circumstances. Going through what he went through in Colorado, I thought he was the most prepared to come into the NFL because he is used to playing without those post-game locker room clips and preseason told me all I needed to know. When KS talks, they check out. I agree. We looked at it last week. He was giving away the game balls. You saw how Myles Garrett was looking at him. Myles Garrett was looking at him like, you all hyping. You ain't do. We did this. You ain't do this. So, hey, they checking out on him. When I was looking at Shedeur, I thought he was the most pro-ready because your clock has to be sped up. And you're not, if you're a high draft pick, you're not going into the best situation, especially offensive line-wise. So we see all across the NFL, offensive line are struggling. Offensive line players struggling. So he was, to me, that made him more prepared than these other guys. Eye test alone, I only named maybe 9. Yeah, but for Shedeur to come out there, it's going to make a, I said this in the offseason. I said teams will extend their coaches and general managers for passing on Shedeur, or they're going to get fired for passing on Shedeur. It's going to be one or the other. And somebody said, oh, Shedeur don't matter. You're bringing him in every conversation. If you're the Miami Dolphins and you had a chance to get Shedeur late, 4th round, you think Mike McDaniels wouldn't want Shedeur over Tua? If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you had a chance to get Shedeur late, 4th round, 5th round. You don't think they want Shedeur over Jake Browning? So we're gonna start looking at these teams. Detroit Lions got the best offensive line. Beast, I agree. Best offensive line. They have a really good defensive line. So they build from the inside out. No one that came in with Shedeur had to deal with the adversity like he did. I agree, Zedric, and I think that's something that prepares him for these moments. That's why his confidence is not shook. Joe Flacco's confidence is on 0. So let's keep this thing moving along. Now, I'm playing this first. I want you to hear how NFL players speak on NFL coaches. This is stuff that's obvious to us, But people tell us because you didn't play in the NFL, you don't know this. But then when guys say this who played in the NFL, nobody says anything. Nobody says, no, these guys not right. This is Maurice Jones-Drew, Steve Smith Sr.
But you got to put talent around him to get the best out of him. If you look at what he was at in Seattle, we had 3 wide receivers that were doing great things. He showed up to be a Pro Bowler and possibly, a guy that was contending for a playoff spot. You got to put talent around these guys that go. You put the running back there. Now you just got to add the receiver to help the rest. And you got to fix your blocking scheme. Now, we know coaches, a lot of coaches, they don't
look, you smile.
They don't I'm trying to think of the right word. They are who they are, right? So they're not going to change their skin, right? A zebra doesn't change its stripe.
All right. So that's the first point he's making. Coaches are who they are. You see how he fumbled and stumbled there because he was trying to say it in the most politically correct way? Coaches are who they are. Kevin Stefanski is who he is. He can't change who he is. That's who he is. It's just not good enough for the Cleveland Browns, to me. So you see it. Now, Steve Smith is going to go even further with it. Playing QB for top P4 teams can hide a lot of weakness. He got exposed behind that line. Oh, yeah, Power 4. I got you. Yes. Are you speaking on Cam Ward? He got exposed behind that line. Yeah, Zed, tell me who you're speaking on. They were talking about Ashton Jeanty first, but then they were talking about coaches. I'm gonna look out for your comment, but let's hear what Steve Smith has to say about these offensive-minded coaches in particular.
Oh, it is amazing how these offensive coordinators are 2 or 3 great games away from being head coaches who really don't have the ability to see anything, to see that picture, right? The players are pitchers, to see the picture any other way. Like if it's an abstract.
Oh, here we go, Steve.
If there's an abstract picture, man, these offense coordinators, they're like, hey, man, that's upside down. Yeah, fool, exactly. I know. You have to turn your head. They right. don't want to make any adjustments. It's amazing.
Well, it's
y'all hear that? I totally agree with what he's saying. We're watching this in real time. So before this week's game against the Detroit Lions, I said it last week, I think on Wednesday's show. I said, look at what Kevin Stefanski's offense does after the first 15 plays. I said, look at the second quarter. That's when it gets to the second quarter, it's the offensive coordinator making adjustments based on what the defensive coordinator is throwing at him. What did we see from Kevin Stefanski? Shedeur overcame his line play. They look at the sacks as a negative when some of it was necessity. I agree. When you look at Kevin Stefanski, what adjustments does he make? When is he able to identify what the other team's defense is doing and have answers for it? How many times did Hutchinson line up left or right side and nobody chipped him? That is their number one pass rusher. Nobody chipped him. We're not magically about to get new tackles. You got to help these tackles out. These tackles' run grades are better than their pass grades. So you don't need to do anything crazy when they're running the ball, but passing the ball, you got to help them out. He just kept putting them out there on the island, and then we're saying, oh man, look how bad the line is. So this is the question. Are you gonna have any answers? Are you gonna have any answers to what the defense is doing? Or are you telling me he can not create an answer, so we're just gonna lose every game? Because if it's the second one, if he can't create any answers and we're just gonna lose every game, then we need a new coach. That's it. When skin tone of coaches matches players, it will be a new day. To a degree, but I mean, look at Andy Reid. Hey, his skin tone don't match. To me, I want whoever is the best. I don't care if this is a 6'7" blue person who is calling plays. I want who is the best. I don't put no boxes on you got to jump through this. You got to look like this or talk like this or walk like this. I want who's the best because I want to win. So however you look, however you show up, I'm cool with it because I want you to win. Look at Dan Campbell's first press conference where he's talking about biting off kneecaps. Look at where they are. Dan Campbell was brought to the Detroit Lions 1 year after Kevin Stefanski. Look at where the Detroit Lions are. Look at where the Cleveland Browns are. I just want who's going to perform the best, who's going to do the best. And they took a discarded quarterback in Jared Goff and did this. And Jared Goff is not athletic. He's not mobile. They took a discarded quarterback by trading away Matthew Stafford, and this is what they did. Matthew Stafford wanted out, boom, traded. And this is what they did. And they traded Matthew Stafford, they got draft capital, and they secured their quarterback of the future, and this is what they turned it around. When you start to compare Kevin Stefanski to other coaches who have been in his shoes for 4 or even less years than him, and you see where their teams are at and where this team is at, it's no way you can defend Kevin Stefanski. It's no way. The productivity is not there. The performance is not there. This is an under 500 coach who can't make adjustments, who has, how many losing seasons does he have? 3 out of his 5 seasons are losing seasons. And this is on its way to being 4th out of 6 losing seasons. And that's the coach we defended? Come on. Come on. Kevin Stefanski should want his QB to create where he can't. Unfortunately, he doesn't. That's key. That's why I was trying to find a clip for y'all where Jason Lloyd was breaking down how Dan Campbell was talking about in his press conference the play that Jared Goff called. He changed it at the line. I've been telling y'all, when you're identifying certain things, you need somebody who can change it at the line and see it in real time and make a play. Kevin Stefanski doesn't want his players to do that. He wants them to do what he tells them to do, regardless of what they see in front of them. They're not used to coaching players of today, Reed, by himself. I agree with that. You got me there. I ain't going to argue with you. You got me there. The worst thing you can do is be rigid, or the worst thing you can do is box yourself in. In any industry, you have to be willing to pivot. You have to. So I won't just say these things. I'll even give y'all examples of me. So when I started streaming, I was looking at my hobbies and I was like, okay, what do I want to stream about? I initially started streaming. I was streaming video games on TikTok. That's what I was. And then I would talk about the Browns on Sundays. I got way more traction from talking about the Browns because I was passionate about it than I did with video game streaming. You know what I did? You'll never see another video game streaming me. I don't even play video games like that no more because I pivoted from it. It wasn't working. I don't have a problem with pivoting from where I'm at. I was on TikTok all last season. TikTok, I hit a ceiling. I said, you know what? I'm going to go all in and I'm going to work on my YouTube and I'm going to do things I can do better for my live streaming over there. I had way more success in this little bit of time by switching over and being flexible than just putting myself in a box and trying to keep forcing to make it work. They'd rather be wrong than uncomfortable. I agree. That's a lot of people. A lot of people would rather do things that way. A lot of people, and them included. So me, I was like, that's not working. Let me try this. And so I believe in people who are willing to pivot, adapt, and adjust. And people who aren't willing to pivot, adapt, and adjust, those people usually end up boxed into a corner when all their magical plans don't come together and they end up failing, a la Cleveland Browns. So before the year, they got a plan, believe their plan. Now, their plan is so bad. Browns just traded for a tackle with the Texans. The Texans' offensive line is trash. The Browns have traded for offensive tackle Cam Robinson. Cam Robinson. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Shout out to you, Zedric. Let's do this. I still got the Shedeur topic coming up, but breaking news, we're going to get to it. This is PFF. Let's check out Cam Robinson on PFF. All right, we ain't seeing him in that top 50. Let's go to the next one. Let's see where he grades out at. Dang, DeJuan Jones graded out as last. Cornelius Lucas is close to last at 64th. KT Livingston is 57. Has he been playing? Let me search. Okay. Overall grade is a 63. Okay, yes. Let's go here. His overall grade is a 63. His pass blocking grade is a 57, which is average. His run block grade is a 69, which is average. So pass blocking, he's 63rd. BF from Ohio, Cam Robinson, not good. He doesn't like to bend. They're going to blow right around him. Based on what you just said and what his grade is, they got somebody else who is good in the run block but not good as a pass blocker. So he's older too. So he was at Alabama in 2015. He was at Jacksonville, then he was at Minnesota, Houston Texans, and now he's on the Browns. I don't know how much of a difference maker he's going to be because Houston is another one of those teams who they're looking at. They need their offensive line is not playing good. So, and at tackle, if you can't bend as a tackle, you can forget about it. You can forget about it. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll look at some of his tape this week. 6'6", 335, 29 years old. Oh, okay. I want to see what we traded for him. It kind of don't matter. Maybe it's a 5th round pick. That's the only thing. Let's see if the Browns actually put it out there. All right, the Browns didn't put it out there, but it's been rumored that that's who they traded for. He was a 1st round pick. They really got another older tackle. Yeah, man, it's a scrap heap, man. It's a scrap heap. You're not getting a difference maker this late. You're not getting a difference maker this late in the year. If you're a difference maker at tackle right now with all the injuries and all this stuff, they're not gonna make a difference. Yeah, I don't see what they gave up for him, but they made a trade. They got a tackle. Okay, whoop-de-doo. This is the thing. The Browns' issue is pass blocking. So you get another tackle that's a turnstile? All right. He not gonna have a press conference. No, I don't think he's gonna have a press conference. I was just checking to see if the Browns put out what they actually gave up for him, like which draft pick, which number. But I mean, okay. I'll look at some of his tape, but I know that the Houston Texans, their offensive line hasn't been able to protect C.J. Stroud, and they haven't been able to run the ball that well. So I've been kind of following them in the background, looking at Nick Chubb and what he's been doing. Even the people who wanted to bring Nick Chubb back versus going Quinshon Judkins, you notice those people got quiet too. So, all right, the Browns make a trade. Hey, I got no better answer than whoop-de-doo, man. this is where you really got to start. You really got to start looking at Andrew Berry and what he put together. Jack Conklin is injury prone, and we didn't significantly upgrade tackle in the offseason. DeJuan Jones was coming off of season-ending injury last year, and he got hit and taken out this year on a season-ending injury, which I believe was a dirty play. And he didn't really do much at tackle. So, I mean, to me, this looks like, see, it's certain things that happen, and you realize that this is a pressure-based move. And this is how you go up to the owner and say, hey, our tackles were bad, we had injuries, and I did something for it. Zed Mack swapping 27 late-round picks. Okay, so they give up nothing significant, and it's 2 years out. Kick the can down the road, basically. So, gotcha. This is a move to say I went to ownership and I tried to do something. That's what this is. We're in a place where Andrew Berry is trying to fight for survival to save his job. Kevin Stefanski trying to fight for survival to save their job. We're going to see them do some desperate, out-of-character things, and this is a nothing. This is a nothing. So you get an offensive lineman from a team who doesn't have good offensive line play. That's going to make us better. Let's get to the main topic, Shedeur Sanders. And I didn't think I was going to have that rant about Shedeur based on Rex and Ryan, but that was some garbage. But let's get to, this is going to be, I'm going to use this
Shedeur
clip.
Sanders, something to say about, the quarterback play across the league.
Hey, calm down, brother. Calm down. So going into the weekend, Shedeur had an interview, ESPN Cleveland. They're only clipping part of his interview, but this is who I decided to break down responding to it. And this is going to expose what is happening in media. This is going to expose that sometimes they're just being a contrarian to be a contrarian. This also is going to expose that people don't really want honesty. They want what makes them feel good. And sometimes what makes you feel good is not honesty. So let's go. This is Speak Easy, Emmanuel Acho, Shady McCoy.
We got the clip right here. We're going to bring that up for you.
What do you got going on?
In my place to answer. That's nothing I can't not answer, but I know for sure I'm not. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
How do we feel about Shedeur Sanders currently?
So this was recorded before this weekend's game. So just to let y'all know, this was before this weekend's game. How do y'all feel about this? I have no problem with what Shedeur said. They're trying to spin it, but we're also going to see Emmanuel Acho. Man, oh man, he's going to take so many L's. I think he's going to take about 4 L's here. Let's get to it.
Third string for the Cleveland Browns, calling out quarterback play across the NFL.
They say I'm a hater. On Twitter, they say I'm a hater. So I'm going to shut up and let 2-5 speak, and I'm going to respond.
Do they say you're a hater?
He is a hater.
That's what they say.
Do I agree?
Wow.
Yo, first of all, we don't have to look at the whole entire league to see bad quarterback play. We can start with his team. I watched the Browns get a big win against the Green Bay Packers, didn't they? Boy, the offense, I'm lying. The defense looked good. Joe Flacco, I'm trying to figure out how the hell is he still playing? He must have something on the head coach. He must know some dirt. Because I watched that game, he had 142 yards, no touchdowns. We had a pick. He don't give you that pick. I watched the whole game. The defense saved them, and so did special teams. And the Packers saved them because the Packers did bad for them to do good. All I'm saying is, you don't have to look around the league to see bad quarterback play. You see bad quarterback play every single day at practice, I'm sure. Bad quarterback play every Sunday when you see Joe Flacco take the field. Bad quarterback play when you're watching the film. So we don't need to look around the league. We can stay right here in Cleveland. I'm trying to figure out, what's does Joe Flacco do well? Probably say the plays well. Is that what it is? Maybe he can tell you all the mistakes he did on tape well.
Yeah.
Because
He sits at the front of the meeting, and when he's at his locker, he doesn't cross his arms. That's what Joe Flacco does well. That's why he's playing. We learned that from Rex Ryan.
When you watch him play, he can't throw, he can't read, he can't move. He can't move. The brother is like 40 plus in the NFL starting. I don't want to make this about a Joe Flacco conversation. All I'm saying is it's time for the young dudes to play because Joe looks.
Dillon Gabriel has said he didn't say he was better than guys, but remember early on in rookie minicamp, Dillon Gabriel said, "Oh, I just look at every situation as I'm the starter, so I go into every situation preparing to be the starter." That's confidence. That's confidence. Nobody knocked him for it. They actually applauded him for it. They want confidence, but you're right. They don't like the messenger who said it. Due to Widow never been to a barbecue, he must be from Utah. Talk about Emmanuel Acho. He from Texas, but he always wrong.
It's bad, bro. And he did not only bad this year, he looked bad last year.
In the wise words of Boogie Cousins, it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to say that, Shedeur. It's not ridiculous at all. Quarterback play across the league has been terrible. It's been so terrible. In fact, it's been record-breakingly terrible across the league this season. I had this fun tweet that I saw earlier, and it says NFL offenses are averaging 318 yards per game, the lowest total since 2005, and the third lowest in the total century. Right?
Wow.
I don't think it's crazy for Shedeur Sanders to have that take.
So that's a very key point, and this is why I use this clip. Flacco can't yell at anyone on the team. I agree. He doesn't have the voice to do it because of how bad he's playing. That's why I use this clip, because they actually gave you some stats on how bad NFL offenses are doing this year. So historically bad offensive play. Some of the worst is 2005, and the third worst since 2000. So quarter century, some of the worst quarterback play. So a person is supposed to believe they're not as good as some of the worst quarterback play you've seen in a quarter of a century? Come on, man. Come on, man.
Now, E, I know you are a hater. So I want to get your take on this.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because you are a hater.
That's crazy.
Stop. Wait, put that in the chat. Stop.
That's crazy. To call the man that pays your salary a hater that's bold. You better than me.
Don't set me up with this premise at all, please.
Acho be hating on that.
Don't set me up with this premise.
I got you.
I don't think there's no issue. Let me talk to the people. There's no issue with Shedeur Sanders thinking this. There's a gigantic issue with Shedeur Sanders right now saying this. Because Shedeur Sanders, when you say this, what could be implied is what Shady McCoy just said, which is you are better than the starter. So now.
Okay. Let's ask the question. Should Shedeur Sanders believe he is better than Joe Flacco right now? Should Dillon Gabriel believe he is better than Joe Flacco right now? Hey, these just questions. Acho, you asked the question. You said you're not a hater. It should be implied that. Is Joe Flacco doing anything that will lead any quarterback on the Cleveland Browns that they are not better than him? The answer is no. So we're just going to politely give you your first L. There is your first L. You got it, Beast. Of course they believe they're better than Joe Flacco. You don't think Dillon Gabriel is sitting there on the sideline like, I could do better than this dude? Come on, man. That's his first L.
Now it could be implied that you're taking a shot at the starting quarterback. Remember what happened during the preseason game when Dillon Gabriel said, I'm about execution, other people are about entertainment. And everybody.
It's cool. It's cool. We're going to clean this up for you. Dillon Gabriel said, I'm a competitor. Y'all are entertainers. That means something totally different than whatever you just said, Acho. It's okay. We here to help you. We're going to clean it up for you. Hey, great question, Zedric. What has Joe done to make them believe they aren't better than him? That's a fact. That's a fact. If you were a quarterback on this team and you believe you couldn't do better than what Joe Flacco is doing, I would tell you, go learn how to broadcast or go be an announcer. That's what I would tell you, because your time in football is done if you don't believe you could do better than somebody who can't run 3 yards on 2nd or 3rd and 2, and you can't do better than leading the league in turnovers. Remember I told y'all it's going to get to a point where nobody's going to go back and count the reasons why Joe Flacco had the turnovers? I still think that was a shot at Shedeur, what Gabriel said. It could have been a shot at Shedeur. It was Gabriel's. I don't understand Gabriel. When he speaks, when he's just saying football stuff, I get it. When he's not talking about football and he's trying to talk about like motivational type things, and I don't understand him. It didn't make sense to me. It like because he tried to say I was calling the reporters and people entertainers, which I don't get it. So I think it leans more to a shot at Shedeur than him taking a shot at the media to me. Let's get to some more of his L's.
He was like, oh, is that about Shedeur? Shedeur, you doing the same thing.
No, he's not.
Being a starting quarterback isn't just about talent. Of course, I believe that Shedeur Sanders is more talented than some starters in the National Football League. Now, we're throwing that around way too flippantly.
So you said all that just to say you agree with Shedeur? And people wonder why they call him a hater. He wonders why people call him a hater. You did all that just to agree with him. So you just wasted our time. You wasted our time.
By the way too flippantly. We need to address what quarterback then. Let's put a name on it. Let's put an address on it so it don't get lost in the mail, by the way, which we will do during the course of this conversation. But you can't say it. You feel me? Like, you can't.
Okay, so I got a question. Everybody wants athletes to be honest. And then when they're honest, everybody says, but don't say that though. So you don't want honesty. Don't tell me you want honesty. Don't tell me you want people to keep it real. Don't tell me you want people to be who they are. Don't tell me you want them to be comfortable. You want them to say what you want them to say. You don't want honesty. You want them to be in a box. Anytime a person wants to put you in a box, is never for a good reason. They want to put athletes in a box. That's what they're doing. These are the same people who were very mad at the shut up and dribble comment. These are the same people who were mad at that comment, and now they're doing it in their own way. Think it, believe it, don't say it. Why should he put a name on it? Everyone can see it if they choose to. I agree. Also, how do you start out with saying he shouldn't say it, but then say he should put a name to it? So that means you don't even believe what you're saying. He shouldn't say it, but put a name to it. Which one is it? Should he say it and put a name to it, or should he not say it at all? This is when people dance around. They don't have no philosophy on how they speak on subjects. They dance around. He's not even done. He gonna dance around this a couple more times.
Say it. You don't want to cause any other drama in the locker room, and you don't want to make it seem like you're trying to usurp the starting quarterback. Yo, just won a game. Yo, just be.
Okay. You don't want to cause any more drama. Did any Browns player get asked about Shedeur's? Did any Browns player get asked about Shedeur's comments that he said? Don't worry. I'll wait. You can't script greatness. Is always off script. I agree. Zedric, double speak. You caught that? You caught that? This is what they doing. This is what they doing.
Be the top 2, top 3 team in the NFC. And now you in the locker room saying, I'm better than other quarterbacks in the league. I don't even think Shedeur's wrong. I just don't know that you have to say it.
So I agree with you. Just don't say it. Find me the difference between shut up and dribble and this. Somebody find me the difference. Go play the game. Don't speak your mind. Don't be into anything else. Him, Emmanuel Acho, think it, believe it, know it's the truth. I agree with you. Don't say it. Name a great player that was on script. You can't, because great players do things that go off script, and that's what makes them great, especially at the quarterback position. Tom Brady said he never snapped the ball if he didn't know where he was going with the ball pre-snap. That means he had to do enough to identify what the defense was doing where he already knew where he was going. Joe Flacco is confused. Kevin Stefanski is not giving him the answers so he can perform out there. I've been calling it out. I've been saying this is a systematic issue. If you notice, most people who cover the Browns, they blame players. They blame the tackles. They blame the receivers for dropping passes. You know who they never blame? They never blame the system. The system that the Browns are running is very basic, and it's only certain routes that they run from the route tree based off where they are aligned. That's why everybody knows what they're doing. That's why they feel so comfortable running man so much. They feel so comfortable running man because they know, oh, you stack these two receivers, this is all you're going to do. Oh, you put 5 wide. First off, you're going to do all quick routes. You're not doing 5 wide to go deep because you got no hope in the backfield. Your tackle's not good, so we don't got to worry about you going deep. We know you're going to put some stick route combination in here on one side, probably the side where it's 2 guys. We know where the running back is not running every play on the route. He's not running every route on the route tree. We know tight ends can't run away from us. I just broke down to you why when the Browns go to 5 wide, they're better off snapping the ball and falling on the ground. You think guys who get paid to break down hours and hours and hours of tape, they can't determine that? I just broke it down to you all that easy why 5 wide doesn't work for the Cleveland Browns. That easy. So guys, I've really just started studying route concepts, and I just started studying defenses on a different level this year. I just started studying this. So if I'm already breaking down and seeing what the Browns are doing, people who've been doing this for years, they know exactly what the Browns are doing. They know exactly what the Browns are doing. So these are systematic issues. Systematic. When I say systematic, that means the whole thing is flawed. The whole thing. So let's get to some more double speak, courtesy of Emmanuel Acho.
I got you one thing now.
Yes, sir.
Are you telling me that Shedeur Sanders, if he's starting quarterback for the Browns when they played the Green Bay Packers, he couldn't do what Joe Flacco did? He couldn't do what Joe Flacco did? Hand the ball off, punt the ball, get a team a pick, don't make no great plays?
But here's my question.
Because you said something though, right? And when you talk, I listen. So now I'm going to ask you a question.
Yep.
Are you telling me, when you watch Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns offense play, you tell me Shedeur couldn't do that against the Green Bay Packers? Because I'm here to tell you that the third string, the kicker could have did the same thing.
No, stop.
The brother had.
There you go. There you go. When you get to the real question, Acho didn't want to answer that question. And it's a reason why he doesn't want to answer that question. Because that's going to defeat his other arguments. That's what these people do. This is the death of the debate show. When you have one person who is asking you pointed questions, they're listening to what you're saying, and you initially want to cut them off, that's when you know you're wrong. When you start off with saying he shouldn't say it at all, but then say if he does say it, he should name names, you're double speaking in conflict with each other. This is a death of the debate show. Because this is what people sit up there and do. This is what they do. I think, I don't think Emmanuel Acho could be this dumb. He's starting podcasts. He somehow got the rights to this YouTube page from Fox Sports. That's why he got so many subscribers right away. So I don't think he's dumb. He either really just doesn't know anything about football, or he's being a contrarian because he thinks that is a good debate tactic and strategy, and that is what killed the debate show. That's why y'all won't ever see me just really go debate another person about subjects, because this is what they're gonna pull. When they know they're wrong, they're gonna have 7 different responses. They're not gonna hold to a point, and they never gonna answer a question. More double speak, courtesy of Emmanuel Acho, everyone.
The brother had 140 yards. No
Shady.
touchdowns.
See, this is a problem. This is why I don't like having these conversations with him. Because Shady just come out here and start talking recklessly as if this same Green Bay Packers team didn't make Jared Goff and the Lions offense look anemic. So,
Hey, Shady was right. That same Green Bay Packers team just put up 40 and got 40 put on them. Shady was right. Shady was right. And also, if you notice, he never answered the question.
Sure. Could Shedeur have thrown 36 passes and just thrown 1 interception? There's a chance. But could Shedeur have thrown 36 passes and maybe thrown 3 interceptions? There's a chance that happened too. The Detroit Lions with Jared Goff, they played the Green Bay Packers. And Jared Goff had 1 touchdown and 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times.
This is called redirect. When your points no longer work, you redirect. He's tried a couple different debate tactics here. First, he was initially against it. He double spoke it. He didn't want to answer the question. Now he's redirecting the entire conversation to a different subject to avoid him taking 3 L's already. Hey, let's go.
That's Jared Goff.
Wait, where are we going with this?
Where I'm going with this is, sure, maybe Joe Flacco sucked. And Joe Flacco sucked against the Packers. But Jared Goff sucked against the Packers. A lot of people suck against the Packers. So if you telling me...
Did Dak Prescott suck against the Packers last night, which makes your entire argument null and void?
Shedeur have done this? Maybe, but there's also a chance he couldn't have.
Well, that was their only win. I'm looking off their only win. I'm not going to other games he looked bad in. The other games they lost, that he looked bad, I'm not talking about them games. The only game that the Browns won is against the Packers.
Yeah.
And if you watch that game, because some people might not watch the game. If you didn't watch the game, you see a win column for...
There wasn't,
right?
It was a defense. It was
He played awful.
What? Did y'all hear Emmanuel? Oh, yeah. It was the defense. So you just argued this entire time for a point that even you argued against this point only to, under your breath, say, yeah, it was the defense? When Shady did something smart there. He said, I don't know if y'all watched it. Emmanuel Acho could not respond because basically he pushed him in a corner and was in real time. You either going to admit you didn't watch it or you're going to admit you did watch it, and then you got to realize it was the defense and it had nothing to do with the offense, really. That was a smart tactic there by Shady.
Correct.
He didn't do anything good.
Correct.
Matter of fact, out of all the 32 starters
He didn't do anything good. What did Acho say? Correct.
in the league, where would you rank Joe Flacco? 30th? 29th?
Correct. Somewhere there. But here's not, but
there you go. Shady got him again. Out of all the starters in the league, where would you rank Joe Flacco? 29th, 30th? Correct. He don't even really, you see, he agrees with Shady for real. That's why I said either he don't know nothing about football or he just playing contrarian just for the sake of the show, because you wasted 6 minutes of our time trying to disagree only to agree to every point Shady just made.
Can we be real? Can we have an uncomfortable conversation?
I'm trying to be real. Because I'm comfortable.
If the Browns bench Joe Flacco, who's next man up?
Dillon Gabriel.
It's not even Shedeur.
He's changing this. He's redirecting the conversation again. He's redirecting it again. So, was it Janet Jackson that had a song that said, let me count the ways back in the day? Or can you count the ways or something like that? Can you count how many ways he's sitting up here losing? He don't even believe what he's saying. I agree, Beast. That's why I said, I'm like, hey, that's why I think he's playing a role. He's playing a contrarian role. The contrarian role in sports debating has died. It died with Skip Bayless. When Skip Bayless lost the Fox Sports show and everything, the contrarian role died. Now, even Skip has to just say what he really feels now. Y'all repeat that? Why does it seem like Skip is bearable now that he's on there on Gil's Arena? Because he's not just playing the contrarian. He's saying what he feels. These guys who just play the contrarian, it's a dying thing. He used to do this all the time on the show, and he brought this same style to his show. He's redirecting again.
I'm going to let that sink in for a moment. And I didn't make that decision. Don't call me a hater. I didn't choose to draft Shedeur in the fifth.
Now he acting like he got a mic drop moment because he's saying Dillon Gabriel is ahead of him on the depth chart. That's not a mic drop moment. Let's remember how we got here. We got here because Shedeur said he's better than some of the quarterbacks playing in the NFL right now. And somehow you are on Shedeur wouldn't even be the next person playing on the Browns. Can we all agree that the Cleveland Browns don't have a clear identity? They don't have a clear message, and their decision-making is questionable after what we just saw from Rex Ryan earlier in the show? Are these the people we're going to believe they know what they're doing? If you say because he had his arms crossed is the reason why he's not going to get playing time, he sits with the scout team receivers that he plays on the scout team with every single day. If that is the reason why we're going to say he shouldn't be playing. We cannot believe that they know what they're doing. He working himself in a circle. Circle jerk. He working himself in a circle. He not getting nowhere. And he think he making some points. He think this is a mic drop. Look how shady looking at him.
5th round. Don't call me a hater. If it was up to me, Shedeur would be starting in Cleveland. It's not. Ownership, management, coaches said that Dillon Gabriel was going to be the number 2.
Now, let's question what he's saying. Do you believe in the Cleveland Browns ownership, management, or coaches? Don't worry. I'll wait. Do y'all believe in him? Kevin Stefanski getting up there. Oh, it's not the time to talk about a quarterback change. The offense can't score points. Kevin Stefanski is what is he? He's won one game out of his last like 15 or what? Nah. He's won one game out of his last 12 games. 1-11 his last 12, I think. Beast, you got it. If they, both of y'all, Beast, Zedric, no, haven't given us a reason to. So if they haven't given us a reason to believe them and we don't have faith in them, how can we then raise up what they believe as if it has any weight? It has any merit? It means anything? It means nothing. Do y'all remember in that press conference when Mike Tyson, they asked him about the money and he said it means nothing. It's garbage. It means nothing to me. That's how we feel about their decision making. That's how we feel about the Cleveland Browns leadership. That's how we feel about the Cleveland Browns management. That's how we feel about the plan that they put in place coming into this year. It means nothing. It's garbage to me. So then we can't put them on the pedestal as if they are seeing something that's good. These decisions are what cost you a season. Let me repeat it. These decisions are what cost you a season. Let's look around at the AFC North. Baltimore is off the rails. Joe Burrow is out. Who believes in 76-year-old Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback for a whole year? It was right there for the taking. It was right there for the taking. They decided this season didn't matter before the season played itself out, and now they should get blamed for not taking advantage of an opportunity. This could be the reason why this could have been a season where the Browns actually win the AFC North for the first time since like 89. This could be the season. They punted on the season. They gave up on the season. And these are the people that we're going to believe? We're going to hold them in high esteem? We don't like Kevin Stefanski's play calls. We don't like the team that Andrew Berry has put on the field. And nobody really believes in the owner's ability to make a decision on if he should keep or get rid of these guys. And these are the people you're using as your defense? Acho, for the 5th time in 6 minutes, we're giving you another L. But wait, there's more. He wants more L's, y'all. He wants more.
Not me. Don't call me a hater. I didn't do this. Shane
Hater.
didn't do this.
Hater.
The Cleveland Browns have said Shedeur is not even a number 2. So if Flacco sucks, let's say, for example, that a Super Bowl champ, by the way, of which there are only about 56 of them in history. Let's say, and less than that, because several people have won multiple Super Bowls. Let's say, for example, Joe Flacco's just terrible. Say he couldn't start for Chaparral High in Arizona. Say he couldn't start for Sierra Canyon. Say he's just...
Funny you asked that question. Let me present that question to y'all. Is Joe Flacco good enough to be a starter in the NFL at this moment? Don't worry. I'll wait. The answer is no. He's not good enough to be a starter in the NFL at this moment. Acho, I never realized you enjoyed taking L's this much. I never realized it. That's another one.
Terrible. But you trying to be like sarcastic, but he really is bad though. So you have to do all that. You have to do all that. Just say, yo, how bad? Because he's really bad.
Sure.
So you have to do all that. Because he's really bad. Just say how bad he is.
Shedeur is not the number 2, 2-5.
All right, well, that wasn't the argument. The argument was he said, yo, when you look around the league, I can play because you see a lot of
name to do better than that. Where could Shedeur? Who's he starting over?
But he's just saying be able to play because I'm so bad. What I'm saying is your start quarterback for the Browns, Joe Flacco, is so awful that Shedeur could go out and do the same thing and do better.
Then why isn't he the number 2? Forget Flacco. I mean, why isn't he the number 2?
You sitting over there with all this super experience and as smart as you are, every coach and GMs and ownership don't get it right.
Of course.
All right.
I'm
So
not saying
they got it wrong. They have it wrong. A lot of coaches, a lot of GMs get it wrong. We see it all the time.
1,000% that's possible.
All right. So what I'm saying is, Shedeur Sanders could go right now and start for the Cleveland Browns. Sure. And they could win games, and he could play better than Joe Flacco. Because Joe Flacco right now is at the bottom of the barrel playing.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But here's what we know.
So what are you disagreeing with?
We all objectively suggested was better than Shedeur. Forget Jackson Dart. Forget Tyler Shuck. Let's just talk about Cam Ward. Cam Ward and the Titans are struggling. 0-3.
Speak for yourself, Acho, because everybody didn't believe Cam Ward was better than Shedeur. Speak for yourself. So when y'all end up being wrong about that, y'all going to hold that L to yourself, because I didn't believe that. And I know a bunch of people who also didn't believe that. Zedric, you see how many times Shady just was he was jabbing all the weak stuff that Acho was saying, and he was just boxing him back in. Said first that wasn't the argument. Marie, Acho had always been a hater of Shedeur, black excellent. He's a horrible representation. Garbage. He's garbage. Acho is always playing a role. And this role that he's playing always leads him to be on the side of taking L's. That's what it is. That's why he's off of TV. If he doesn't realize you got to call what you really see and stop playing contrarian, even this podcast is not going to work for him. It's not going to work. This method of the style of debate that he's using is a losing method. And everybody has seen it and they call it out. Shady is eating him alive real time. Barbecue chicken, like Shaq would say. This is barbecue chicken. Every time Acho speak, barbecue chicken.
And Cam Ward hasn't looked great. Bad picks. I think he threw a bad pick 6, if I'm not mistaken, just this last game.
Cam Ward?
Yeah. Cam Ward. Like,
Yes,
he's struggling.
Yeah.
So are we just why are we just out here assuming that Shedeur is going to walk into the league and be Peyton Manning? Is Shedeur a good player?
Who said he going to walk into the league and be Peyton Manning? Did Shady say that? Did Shedeur say he's going to be Peyton Manning? And also, Emmanuel Acho, do you know what Peyton Manning did as a rookie? Acho, what did Peyton Manning do as a rookie? Led the league in interceptions, my friend. So that's not the perfect example. Taking these L's.
He's not saying that.
Yes.
He's not saying
I don't
that.
think he's saying that.
All
I
he's
don't think he's saying that.
You took an example of a rookie. Rookie's going to make mistakes.
Correct.
But what my issue is, the same reason why Russell Wilson is not starting no more is because, hey, if you're going to play like a rookie, throwing the ball away when it's 4th and 5, we're going to use rookies for that. That's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Joe Flacco, if you're going to only put up 140 yards and can't move the ball at all the whole game and be double R as in regular, we can do Shedeur to do it because he's a rookie too.
Sure.
So my thing is, why have an awful vet playing like a rookie when we get a rookie go out there and play and let him get some experience and play?
But if that's the case, I'm not disagreeing with nothing Shady's saying. I'm not. For the record, I'm not.
All right, so Joe Flacco bad?
Yes.
All right, bet.
Of course.
All right, good. Okay.
Then they
So why did you waste our time with this whole segment?
should put in Dillon Gabriel because that's the number 2.
Yeah,
and then let Dillon
I
Gabriel
agree.
be bad and then put in Shedeur. Like, I'm not disagreeing with nothing Shady's saying. What I hate is this, and I hate when people don't put addresses on stuff. I hate subtweets. And what Shedeur Sanders did was a subtweet. If you want to say there's a lot of bad quarterback play and I'm better than them, name them. I hate when people come out with top 10 lists or top 50 lists and, oh, this top.
So, Acho, that's for us to do. That's for us to do. Would you ask any other quarterback to name quarterbacks they believe they're better than? Or would you only say that about Shedeur? I appreciate Shady standing on business. Browns honestly have better circumstances than the Titans. It's questionable. The Titans put so much into receivers. They just kind of overlook what they needed on the offensive line. Didn't Peyton throw more interceptions than TDs? Bet you didn't hear he wasn't ready. Yes, he did. That's why I said Peyton Manning, that's not the right example. So this is when a person is dancing and jumping all over the place, saying, oh man, would you say that to anybody else? Would you say that to any other quarterback? See, a lot of issues that I have with these people in the media is they hold Shedeur to a different standard than they hold every other player to. Every other player. Would he say this to a receiver? Would he say this to a safety? Would he say to a head coach, oh man, you tell me who you better than? He would not. He would not. He would never say that. He would never say that. So he danced all over the place. He continues to rack up L's, and everything that he says he's not is exactly what he is, a hater. That's it. He's a hater, y'all. Nothing else. We don't even got to listen. And it's another 8 minutes of this. Another 8 minutes of this. So, exactly. See, this is a trick that they try to do. They try to use, Cedric. Look who Shedeur gets compared to, greatness. They try to do that because they don't want no wiggle room to be wrong. If you notice, they always bring up Tom Brady, who's widely considered the greatest of all time when it comes to quarterbacks and some player of all time. And that's who they put Shedeur's name next to. They don't put Cam Ward's name next to nobody that was like that. Who he said he believed Cam Ward was better than Shedeur. So how do you compare the person who you believe is greater than the other person to somebody less than the person who you believe was not as good? It don't make sense. So these are little tricks that they do. And also, everybody who played this clip of Shedeur talking, they skipped past the part where Shedeur said he has to get better, he has to be ready, and he's going to be ready when his time comes. They skipped past that because that would eliminate the entire narrative, but they gotta hit that Shedeur stimulus package. They got to. They got to hit that Shedeur stimulus package. Every week, they got to find a reason. We got to talk about Shedeur. They know it, just hate to admit it. I agree. So, that's what they do. I'm a seasoned Browns fan, y'all, so I'm going to say this as we wrap this show up. This show comes to a close. The Browns are going to be in turmoil for the next couple weeks. We're going to get a sprinkle of hope in a couple weeks, but it's still going to be what it's going to be because the Browns leadership decided this season they were not going to go all in. So don't get too flustered. Don't get too rattled. Don't worry about the wins and losses. We're just going to stay in this thing until 12 get his opportunity, and that's when we'll put any emotion to it. I would never support anything Acho does, not listen to this podcast, nor when he was on ESPN. He's trash. I always try to support. Let me see the end of what you said there. He's trash, and I always try to support my people, but he's a Jason Whitlock. He learned under Jason Whitlock. He learned under him. Jason Whitlock, I never show anything from him because I know a lot of what he's doing is just trying to push trigger points and bring out emotion. So if y'all notice, I'll only show certain people on my podcast because I understand and know what the other people are trying to do, and I'm not really going to show them like that. I ain't gonna. So it's certain people you will never see. It's Shedeur haters you'll never see me talk about. It is guys who take that other approach and use the shock value y'all will never see me talk about because I know exactly what they're doing. So, and Jason Whitlock is in that category. You'll never see him on my show. Ain't no point. You have to have a miserable life if all you do is try to tear people down for you to gain. If you go back to even when Jason Whitlock was on TV and at Fox, the reason why Fox didn't want him anymore is because he could not break down sports. So if this is a sports-based show and you can't break down sports, he would always go to shock value. He would always bring the race card. He would not talk about the sport because he couldn't do it. He couldn't break it down. And a lot of these people lack the understanding of the sports that they're covering. So they bring in these other things. And that's Jason Whitlock. So he would never, I'll never play a clip from him. I'll never do any of those things because what I realize is even if my audience isn't the size of their audience, I'm not going to expose my audience to these people. I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it. Shout out to y'all. This has been another great show. Don't let these Browns drive you crazy. 12 is going to get his opportunity soon. We're going to keep calling it out. And after what I saw from Rex Ryan today and what he said, everybody knows that Shedeur sits at the back of the meeting with the other receivers. Then I'm on the train of they got to go. Fire everybody. He's jealous of the whole entire Sanders family. He always talking trash about Deion. Beast, I agree with that. Also, that's the same thing that Sean King does. When I was breaking down Sean King on UCSS, I realized he is also jealous of the Sanders family as well. So those people, I try not to really get into them that much because I see what they're about. This has been another great show. Tomorrow, I'll be live again, probably going live 10:30. I appreciate y'all. 10:30 tomorrow is Tuesdays. Tuesdays, we're going to be talking quarterbacks. We're going to talk about 5 college quarterbacks because 3 of them had bye weeks. We're also going to talk about Jackson Dart tomorrow. And we're going to throw in a little bit of talk about Dante Moore and what I believe is his rising stock coming into this NFL draft if he decides to come out this year. So great show. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for tapping in. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.